Okay, today we are going to start a song. We're going to make 4 tracks, and then those 4 tracks are each going to be about 4 measures long, and that will be the first building block of making our song. We're going to try to do this in 10 minutes or less. We're going to start this off with drummer track, and then we need to pick our genre, so you can pick whatever genre you feel is most close to what you want to make. For today, let's just go ahead and start with hip hop, and then click create. I always like to start with the drummer track because that gives me a real quick idea of the feel of the song and the tempo of the song. And once that's kind of decided on, it's a lot easier to then put other stuff on top of that. So let's take a listen. All right, I'm going to press Y to bring up my library. That's my library. Yeah, get it? Okay, whatever. And I'm going to pick, we've got 3 hip-hop drummers to pick from. I'm going to go with Anton for now. You could pick whoever you want. Press play. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'll pull it down a little bit simpler. I'm going to think of this as kind of being like my verse part of my song. And that'll do. If I wanted to, I could go through here and pick a couple different drum kits. We're on Beat Machine right now. Let's just see what the Atlanta kit sounds like. That's kind of cool. I like that maybe a little bit better. All right, then we're going to take this region here. We're going to just make it 4 measures instead of 8 for now. Notice that I'm not going to go on the right. I'm going to go on the bottom right edge, not the top right edge. If I go right, top right, I'm looping. Bottom right, I'm changing the size of the region. So we'll go to make it 4 measures long. And then it's time to add a new track. And we're going to add just a software instrument, my default patch. I don't know what your default patch is. Mine happens to be a Bosendorfer grand piano. That's fine. You can pick and choose whatever instrument you want to use. I tend to start with piano, just because it's easy to start with. And we're gonna make this track be our chords track. So I'll just go ahead and rename this real quick. We'll just call this chords. And I'm gonna control click right there to create an empty region. And we're gonna start with drag it out just to be 2 measures long. And you can get real complicated with chord progressions, and you can get real messy into the music theory. We're going to try to keep this super simple. Step 1, pick a note to start on. Whatever one you're feeling is where your song needs to be. For today, I'm gonna say that note. Doesn't matter what it's called. We're gonna start with that note. So I command click, and that gives me my note there, which I'm gonna then drag out to be just a whole full measure long. All right, so that note there is going to be what we call the root of my chord. And then from there, we're going to turn this into a major chord. So we'll take that bottom note, and I'm going to hold Option, and then I'll click and drag up. And I'm going to go up, forward, or up 4 notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still holding the Option key, and then now let go of the mouse, and then let go of the Option key. And now I've got my second note of the chord. Technically, it's called the third, but whatever. Let's move on. And then I'm going to take that note, and I'm going to do the same thing. Hold Option, click and drag up, but this time I'm only going to go up 1, 2, 3 notes. Here we go. Major chord. And okay, so I'll listen to it a couple times, and I'll decide, is that really where I want to be? Maybe not. So our second option is to take that middle note right there, and just hold the Option key, and then press the down arrow. And now it's a minor chord. That one feels better. Command Z, let's just double check. Here's major. Command Shift Z to redo it. Now I'm back to minor. Yeah, that's where I want to go. All right. So next step is pick another note to be the root of a second chord. So right now we're on this note. And do I want to go up or down? What am I feeling like today? I don't know. Maybe there? I don't know. Maybe there? Sure, we'll try there. Whatever. And go ahead and add a note there as well. And then we'll do the same thing. We're going to start with, this is now my root of my second chord here. And I'll hold the Option key, click and drag up 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. And then the same thing, but up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And now I've got, remember what kind of chord that is? It's going to be a major chord. It's okay. And then if I want to just get a sense of what minor might sound like, I'll take that middle note, hold Option, press the down arrow key. You could also just manually drag it if you want to. That's kind of cool. Yeah, and you know, I'd love this loop to just loop for just these 2 bars right here. So what I can do is just click on that region right there and press U. That sets my cycle automatically. Yeah, it's got kind of like a little bit an off sort of feel, and you know, you're gonna spend some time just kind of picking and choosing and deciding. You know, don't ever go with like your first initial thing that you put down. Just, you know, take a moment to try like at least one other thing, so that you can compare and decide, oh, I like that better. All right, so we're gonna call that done. We're gonna say that is our chord progression, and so now it's time to add a bass. So here we go, add a new track. We're just gonna go with the default track for now. But I'm going to change it. Now, you would think we just go right to bass, right? So those basses are all like electric guitar basses or your upright acoustic basses. For hip hop, I might first go for a synth bass, maybe. So we'll go over into synthesizer and then basses, and there's holy cow, there's a lot of them. You know, rather than being paralyzed by indecision, let's just pick one, just a deep sub bass. That sounds like fun, right? And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this track here. I'm sorry, this region, this chords region. I'm going to just click on the bottom note. Remember, that's called the root. And then hold Shift to click and select the second chords root. And then I'll type Command C to copy those. So now I have the root of both chords. And now we need to make a new empty region, which I will then drag out to be 2 measures. And then I'm going to go in here and make sure my playhead's right at the beginning of measure 1 there. Click inside that area, Command V to paste, and now I have my bass notes. Problem is those bass notes might be a little bit too high for bass, so I'll select them again. Option, Shift, down arrow. Now they're an octave lower. Oh, and you know what? That's probably too low. I'm listening to that. So maybe I'll take this guy up an octave. We'll see what that sounds like. Option, Shift, up. You know, it's just not here. Let's see. There we go. It's kind of cool. You know, it's a little boring in terms of rhythm, so typically what I'll do is I'll then, you know, pick a new rhythm for it. So I'll grab both of the notes, and I'll just shorten them up maybe like that. Actually, we'll go 16th note in length, and then I'm going to hold the Option, click and drag, and just make another note and see what that sounds like. It's like okay, so maybe I'll go and put 2 notes in there. I don't know. We're just experimenting. You just got to decide, do I like what that sounds like? If you want to get crazy, maybe you throw in like another one of these guys down an octave, right? Same pitch, but like, I don't know, over here. Like that. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And maybe I'll do the same idea that I did right there. Sure, great. Now, you'll probably spend a little bit more time coming up with something that you really like. Don't feel like you have to do exactly this, but the idea is, you know, put in the roots and maybe give it a rhythm. Maybe not. That's up to you, whatever sounds good. But we'll call that our bass line, and then move on. We need probably one more thing here, and then we at least have the beginnings of a building block for a song. So hit create, make a new software instrument. And, oh, who knows what this is going to be. I don't know. Let's go maybe synthesizer, and then I like bells. Bells are fun. So, ooh, Harlequin. That sounds like a scary or something. I don't know. Okay, that's kind of interesting. All right, so your natural first question is, well, like, what notes should I play for my riff or for my melody or whatever? Well, we know that these are notes that we already played in the song, so maybe this is a good starting spot. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up to our chords region, hold Option, click and drag it down onto our riff track. And let's you know what I like to do is I like to rename these, so we'll call that bass. because it's the bass track. And then I'll rename this. No, I'm just double clicking to rename. And we'll call this riff, because it's going to be my riff. Now you'll notice this is still called chords. So like if you like you want to hold Shift N while it's selected, and you can rename the region as well. You can do that to these two if you want to be like very neat and tidy. All right, so there's my riff. But right now it's just my chords. So, but this tells me what notes are good notes in this song. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just take this note and just shove him over here. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of like line up all these notes on top of each other. This guy I already got, so I can just delete him. I'm going to take all of them, make them nice and small, like a 16th note or so. And then I'm going to just push them off to the side here. You see them right there? They're just kind of hiding off on the side, so they don't actually get played. But just to make sure, I'm going to hit Control M with those notes still selected, and that will mute them. And then I'm going to go up here to the little fold button here. It's probably a different, collapse mode. There we go. Click on that. And now I see just those notes. So I'll switch from my pointer tool to my pencil tool. Now you could just hold Command and add notes that way, but sometimes I feel like having a regular clicking tool. All right, so now we just need to put some notes in. Where to start? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just pick one and see if it sounds good. Oh, something like that. Oh, that was actually really cool. And just like, I don't know, just trying some notes. And sometimes I like to take like little motives, like this little 3-note idea, like pop it down here. So it's, there's some repetition. And that little echo, the delay that's happening on the instrument there is helping fill in a lot of that space. So like I'm not going to put a lot in there because it's just going to get real messy with all that echoing going on. And I don't know, when we finish up with like one other note over here or something. And like I'm picking that note because I remember that's where the bass was playing, but it doesn't have to be there. You can put it like wherever you want. And then maybe go back to my quick way to get back to my pointer tools, type T and then T again. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command A to select them all. I'm going to uncollapse and then Option Shift up, and now it's an octave higher. That's kind of cool. There's a little bit of glide in there. Right? And then so we could take this just like one simple step further. You could be done at that point, but we're going to go just a little further. We're going to grab all 3 of these regions here. We'll just go Command R. That way we get copies of them. But the reason we're doing copies instead of, say, looping them is because we want to be able to edit them. So I'm going to go into the measure 3 and measure 4 here, and then in my riff, I'm going to just put in like a little bit of difference at the end here. So maybe I'll do, let's get my little pencil tool again. Now the quick way to do that, by the way, is T. Oh boy, what's happening? Let's go back. Is to just press T, bring up your tool, and then P for pencil. Okay. All right, so we got my pencil tool, T, P. And then, let's go back to collapse mode so we can see my notes again. Maybe something like that, so that the second set of bars is a little different. I'll press C to stop my cycle region from being there. And if I just click this, it will then, when I press U, set my cycle for that whole length right there. I could have also selected everybody and pressed U, but that's the quicker way. And then here we go on the last 2 bars. Right, and that gives it just a little bit of variety. We'll do the same thing with a bass. Maybe put a different rhythm on the bass here. Let's see here. Maybe we, oh gosh, I'm having like a mental block. I don't know, TT. I like octaves, so we'll put another. Something like that. Let's see what that sounds like. Click here, turn cycle off if I want to listen to from just that point. and then it would cycle back around. So now we've got, you know, a true 4 measure a pattern here instead of just a 2 measure that's going to loop the whole time over and over and over. And that's it. I mean, that's the beginning of our song. I mean, the song's probably not going to start like that. We'll probably like arrange it out, you know, so that like by measure 9 or something, we eventually get everybody playing. But for now, that's our first building block, and we're ready to make a song now. Good luck.